Hi, I'm Sarah Nguyen, a research data analyst with Southern Region Intel, and you're watching Report on Conditions.
On today's episode, we'll see some footage from 2 vehicle fires, as well as a special reunion that occurred at Coachella Fire Station 79.
Engine 1 with report on conditions.
Hi everyone, I'm Tara Fernandez, and thanks for joining us on today's episode of Report on Conditions. Let's swing by the Riverside Convention Center, where your Emergency Command Center was recognized for their incredible work. Last week, CAL FIRE hosted their 2024 Directors Awards ceremony in downtown Riverside. Throughout the ceremony, individuals from up and down the state were recognized for their exceptional contributions to CAL FIRE and their mission. Included among the award recipients was our very own Paris Emergency Command Center, who on September 6, 2024, was distinguished with the honor of being the 340th Emergency Medical Dispatch Accredited Center in the world. Congratulations to our dispatchers and their amazing efforts on providing Riverside County residents with the best in emergency services. Let's go over some call statistics. From March 24th through March 30th, the department responded to a total of 3,901 calls for service. Of those calls, 2,990 were medical emergencies and 98 were fire-related calls. Here's a look at a few of those incidents. On Monday, March 24th, firefighters were dispatched to a vehicle fire on the southbound Interstate 15 at the Winchester Road off-ramp in Temecula. The first arriving engine reported one vehicle well involved with fire. Thankfully, firefighters were able to contain the fire within about 4 minutes and kept it from spreading further than the vehicle. Fire resources were on scene for about an hour performing overhaul. No injuries were reported. On Tuesday, March 25th, fire engines responded to a reported vehicle collision in the 18,400 block of Grand Avenue in the community of Lakeland Village. The engine arrived on scene and reported a large commercial trash truck versus a power pole, with power lines down on the ground creating a hazard. Southern California Edison was requested to assist with the power lines and arrived on scene quickly. The driver of the truck was not injured, and firefighters were on scene for about an hour while the hazard was mitigated. On Friday, March 28th, at around 6:30 p.m., firefighters were dispatched to a reported traffic collision on Ortega Highway near Grand Avenue in the unincorporated area of Lake Elsinore. The first arriving engine reported a vehicle versus a motorcycle and began checking injuries. One patient was transported via ground ambulance to a local hospital for further treatment of their injuries, and the scene was turned over to California Highway Patrol for investigation. On Saturday, March 29th, firefighters responded to a vehicle fire near the intersection of Calle Tampico and Eisenhower Drive in the city of La Quinta. The first engine on scene reported one vehicle partially involved in fire, as well as one palm tree burning. The fire was contained in approximately 2 minutes, and firefighters were on scene for about 30 minutes, fully extinguishing the flames. No injuries were reported.
Go ahead and start transport dozer 39.
Okay, 60, Paris copies your request for...
It was about 3:30 in the morning on January 8th. We had just cleared a medical aid in the city. It was dispatched as an unknown type fire. About a mile out, we saw a very large glow. The engineer of Medic Squad 79 ordered 4 more additional engines at that time.
They arrived on scene shortly before we did, noted some access issues. We had to open up a locked gate and traverse what seemed to be a dirt road.
When we got on scene, we saw a very large vegetation fire with
approximately, I'd say, 70 to over 100 palm trees, all well involved. We had very high winds, it was very dry, and we had lots of smoke pushing down on us from all sides.
In the middle of this large fire was a house. The house had a small fire on the right side and was starting to involve. The house was starting to off-gas, as we call it.
That's where we decided to initiate our defensive operations. Before we can get those into play, we received notice that there were victims trapped inside the house. Instead of performing the task we decided to do, we ran to the house to see if we could initiate a rescue. It was at the time we got to the house where we could hear them, the victims. So we decided to get some forcible entry tools and try and pry open the door. Fortunately, that failed because we later found out the door had multiple advanced locking mechanisms on it, making it very difficult to force. So rather than take the time,
we broke the kitchen window.
My partner, firefighter paramedic Tony Ippolito, placed his Wildland web gear pack on the windowsill as a cushion. I reached in and I was able to get my hands on the young girl and bring her outside of that windowsill.
Firefighter Lucido handed the victim to me, and I took the victim to our fire captain about 100 feet away.
I then hopped a wall and met him with the uncharged structure line, and he handed me the little girl. I then took the little girl back over to the IC, and once I gave him the little girl, I then went
back and we assisted the victim's mother out of the window as well. That time fire was pushing on our right side of the house into the garage, and we were having some right side involvement in the house.
He started fighting fire. I then popped the door to the residence, which was already banked down smoke about 2 feet off the ground. Did a quick search inside of the living room and kitchen, went back and met up with the IC.
All my rings had flames, so I immediately jumped up and grabbed her. And I remember throwing a Hello Kitty blanket over her, and I tried to run out my back door. But when I opened the door, I seen all these palm trees, everything was in flames. So I slammed it shut, and we ran down the hall, and I was calling 911 at the same time. And I opened my garage door in the kitchen, and that's when all the smoke started coming in, and my fire alarm started going off. So I slammed that shut, and I looked out the window, and I seen a fire truck. I heard a window breaking on the side of the kitchen, and it was the firemen. We lost 2 of our cats.
Chop Chops and Marble.
We're very heartbroken about that, but there was nothing we could do. And although we lost our home, we got each other, thanks to them. Those are heroes. Those are heroes that were gonna risk their own life to get us out. We're just very grateful.
Very grateful.
I'll never forget that moment. Yeah, I'll never forget that moment in 1,000 years. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're okay. The teamwork that I saw was something that you don't see very often, especially in any job, but in this career alone. Everything worked perfectly. We didn't have to talk to each other. Everything fell into place. Everywhere I looked was someone working hard to complete the mission.
This is what we do. This is what we train for day in, day out. And to actually run one of these calls and have a successful outcome, it makes you feel proud to serve Riverside County and provide the citizens the best service.
We'd like to congratulate the following individuals on their recent promotions and retirements. Congratulations to you all.
Doesn't mean anything bad.
Wildfire can destroy your home, harden your home, and install fire ignition resistant materials to your roof, garage, fence, deck, and more. Don't wait until it's too late. Give your home a fighting chance. Learn more from CAL FIRE at readyforwildfire.org.
That's all for this week's Report on Conditions. Follow your firefighters in action on our social media at CAL FIRE RRU and stay up to date on incidents happening countywide. If you caught any great footage of our firefighters at work or out in the community, send them to us at rrupio@fire.ca.gov. On behalf of your Public Affairs and Community Education Bureau, I'm Tara Fernandez. Thanks for watching.